All right, so this is a lesson 3 help video. I realized that it's not enough. So a couple of things. First thing is you have to know these. 30, 60, 90. Across from 30 is 1. Across from 60 is radical 3. Across from 90 is 2. 45, 45, 90. Across from 45 is 1. They're the same. And across from 90 is radical 2. All right. All right. So I'm going to do this one. It says find 120, find the coordinates of that point, and then find sine theta and cosine theta. All right. So first of all, 120. This is 0 or 360. This is 90. This is 180. This is 270. So where would 120 be? 120 is going to be in here somewhere. I'm just going to draw it somewhere in here. All right. So that's 120. Now, this is what 120 is from there to there. We need to know what is the reference angle so that we can find these coordinates. All right. So 120 minus 60 is 180, or excuse me, plus 60 is 180. So this is a 60-degree angle. So now I'm going to draw that triangle right here. This is 60, matches up with that. That means this is 30 and 90. Across from 30 is 1. Across from 60 is radical 3. And across from 90 is 2. Now I'm going to find sine and cosine. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. You have to know that. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse. You have to know that. All right? So what is adjacent? So if my angle is here, adjacent is the side that touches it, and that is 1. The hypotenuse is always across from 90. That is 2. So the cosine of 120 is 1/2. The sine of 120, opposite, radical 3 over 2. All right, now we're going to find our x and our y. Very simple. Our x is always our cosine, 1/2. Our sine is always our y value, radical 3 over 2. All right, I'm going to go back a minute and erase something. When I drew this triangle originally, I should have made this a -1. Why? I'm going to the left, so this is -1. This is my triangle. This is positive radical 3. That means cosine of 120 is -1/2. My x value is a -1/2, right? This is an x and a y. Everything on here is just like an x. If I go left, it's negative. If I go down, it's negative. All right? Those are how things work. All right, here's the second type of problem. Find theta, find cosine of theta when sine of theta is this and cosine of theta is that. Well, let's say sine of theta equaled radical 3 over 2. As soon as I see that radical 3, I know I'm dealing with a 30, 60, 90 triangle. And I know that theta is opposite, so radical 3 is opposite of that, and 2 is there. That means theta has to be a 60-degree triangle, right? Radical 2 over 2 is a little bit trickier, but not much. I know for this to be a radical 2, I know it's got to be 1, 1, and radical 2. So I know I'm using 45, 45, 90. Now let's talk about where is it at. Sine is negative, so that means I have to go down. My y value has to be negative. It goes down. My cosine is negative. That means when my x value has to go to the left. So it's not here. It's not here. It's not here. It's in this quadrant here because it's cosine is negative, sine is negative. So I'm going to draw my angle right here. Now I know this angle is 45 degrees. And I know that because radical 2. I know I'm using that. So I'm going to label this. I go to the left 1, I go down 1, and my hypotenuse is radical 2. All right, let's check. Let's see if sine, in fact, is negative radical 2 over 2. Opposite, sine is opposite. So that would be -1 over radical to the hypotenuse. Remember, when I have radicals, I have to rationalize. So this is negative radical 2 over radical 4, which is 2. Now, in your future, Life's going to be better if you know that you see a 1 and a radical 2, it turns into a radical 2 over 2, and you keep the sign. If not, you can always rationalize it. So I know this is right. So what angle is this? Well, this is 180 degrees plus 45 more, so this is the sine of 225. So now I know theta is 225, and I can find my cosine. Now check it out. My cosine is going to be adjacent, this angle here, negative 1 over radical 2. And I told you when you see 1 over radical 2, that is automatically a radical 2 over 2 after you rationalize it, and it's negative. So there would be cosine. Alright, I hope that helps you out. If you still need help, please ask. This is a tricky thing, but it's one of those things that once you get it, you get it. It just might take a minute to get it, and that's okay.